Welcome to Orient Live. The O's are back in league action today and hoping to get back to winning ways after a slight slip up on Tuesday in the Virtue Trophy. But it's Reading who have travelled to E10 and the O's are looking to get all 3 points and continue climbing up that table. I'm Ollie Buck, and as we've just seen from the intros there, we've got a main man in the Orient squad joined us here in the studio today. Dan Adjie is with me, as is Andrew Butler. But sorry, Andrew, let's start with Dan. Thank you for joining us, Dan. Let's start with, I think, what all the fans will be wanting to know. How's the injury going? We've missed seeing you out there on the pitch.
Yeah, so the injury is coming along quite well. Started doing plyometric stuff, so jumping, and I think the next stage will be running, and then hopefully back in training.
Very nice. And what's it been like? Because obviously that injury for you came at a time where we were on such a phenomenal run. That run's continued. It must be a bit of mixed emotions that you're not still out there playing, but as far as it goes, that the run we're still on, it must be really positive at the training ground and helping you get through that rehab. Yeah, definitely. You know, everyone's going into every game now feeling confident, feeling positive, and believing we can win. For me personally, yeah, it was a bit frustrating to get injured at the time, but thankfully, I'm lucky that it's not too bad of an injury, and yeah, hopefully I can just, when I come back, I can hit the ground running again. Well, hopefully that's as soon as possible. Looking at today's fixture, then, Andrew. Reading in the league 0-0 against Peterborough last Saturday. We'll forget about Tuesday night, but today's a good opportunity. A team one space above us to continue climbing that table. It's a really big game in many ways. I think because we've had to kind of reframe our season almost in the last kind of 6-7 weeks from trying to get out of the relegation zone and see ourselves a bit further up the table to get into a place like today where we're playing a team one place above us in the table and think actually if we get this one over the line, then we can really start thinking about being real contenders for the playoffs. So it's been an amazing journey in the last kind of 6 or 7 weeks, and it's these sort of games now where I'm sure fans will be coming to the stadium thinking like it's a must-win game. And we talked about must-win games before Christmas, and I don't think there's must-win games before Christmas. And we were talking about must-win games about getting them out of the relegation zone, and now we're talking about something a completely different proposition, which is an amazing place to be in. So hopefully the kind of loss on Tuesday hasn't affected them too much, but and hopefully we'll go in with a lot of confidence. Absolutely, and I'm guessing there'll be some confidence in the fact that Reading were the team that we picked up our first 3 points of the season against earlier in the season. Yeah. I guess on a broader point, there's no team in this league, I guess, right now that we would fear going up against. Yeah, but 100%. Like even when we went on a good run, for example, we were still playing well against these teams and losing. So now now we're playing well, and now we're confident to go in every game, and we're thinking that we can beat anyone. Well, hopefully we can beat the Royals this afternoon and pick up all 3 points. We're going to hear about the home side Leyton Orient and how they shape up. But first, let's hear from the gaffer. It's Richie Wellens.
Gaffer, another 4 days on and another game to come. Reading at home this time. How much are we looking forward to it?
They can't wait. Saturday 3 o'clock at home. Should be a really big crowd against a big club in this league. So, we just try and continue the run that we're on. And hopefully we can put on another performance. Got a few players back, lost 1 or 2. So, another game that we can win.
We've obviously got the cup game in the distance, but there's some really important league games to come before then, isn't there?
I mean, the cup game is way in the distance. We've got, this league is about Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and if you can put them weeks together, when you get Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and you can get good points return, the table can change in your favour very, very quickly, as we've shown over the last few months. So I think we've got the next 3 games. We've got teams who are 1 place above us and 2 places above us, and then a team just below us. So if we can get a good point return in that, it'll put us in a fantastic position. But yeah, we're not talking about the cup game. It's a distraction, if I'm being honest, and I don't want people to talk about it. We've got a full week leading into that, So when it comes through, we can enjoy that week leading into it. But other than that, we've got business to take care of with these 3 games.
Right then, let's jump straight into today's starting lineup then. And there's a couple of faces making their first performance here at the Gotham Group Stadium. Dylan Markanday obviously made his first start for the O's away to Peterborough in that 0-0 draw last Saturday. He starts out wide again today, and on the other wing is Azim Abdullah, who signed this week on a 2-year contract from Swansea City. There are wide men today, and supporting them is Jamie Donnelly, and leading the line is Charlie Coleman. Working back through midfield then is Jordan Brown alongside the captain Darren Pratley, and then the back four today, Ethan Galbraith is at right back, Jack Curry is on the other side of defence, and Omar Beckles partners Brandon Cooper in the heart of defence, and Josh Keeley is the man in between the sticks. On the bench is Noah Phillips, Jaden Sweeney, Tom James, Sean Clare, Dan Happy, Zach Obiero and Dialang Jayasimi. So let's talk about the 2 new signings then, Andrew. We've been very unlucky with injuries for our wide players, Dan included, Theo, Jordan. We need these wide players, and we need them to fit in and start performing quickly.
Yeah, certainly. I think some of the best football we've obviously played in the last couple of months has come when we've had a really, really cohesive unit of this kind of the front four, the 3 behind the front man, and obviously the man sat to the left of me is such a key part of that. So to replace that, especially and with Ollie O'Neill on the right hand, on the left hand side, sorry, is a big ask for both Markanday and Abdullah as well. But obviously they've been brought here to the club to do exactly that and to hit the ground running. So can they be a cohesive unit within 4 or 5 days is a really, really, really big ask, and it's a big ask of any new player to any football club. But hopefully they've seen what we've been able to do so far this season, the way that we like to play. It's been a fairly rigid system actually throughout the whole season. The 4-2-3-1 formation is basically Richie Wellens all over, and hopefully they've just kind of been able to come into the club, seen probably clips of Dan and Ollie, and hopefully Richie's just said, look, you see what they're doing, do that.
Can I ask though, Dan, because as a fan watching the attacking football, it's a joy. The interchanging, whether it's Kelman drifting out wide and you're dragging the man as well, you do look to be on such a wavelength. How much work is put in on the training ground in pre-season, in the first half of the season when the goals maybe weren't as free-flowing? How much work's put in, and how important was it to kind of stick to that to try and make it finally click? And it did.
It's, to be fair, taken quite a long time for it to start clicking. At the beginning, we were all trying to work together, but things just weren't clicking. Eventually, things started to work out, and on the training field, we spent quite a long time working on movements and patterns. If someone's in the position, say if I'm in the position where I'm running the line where Charlie Kelman and Ollie O'Neill should be, because what kind of crosses I would do, and so on and so forth. So yeah, we put in quite a lot of work on that, and I think it was starting to show. Yeah.
And does Richie give you a bit of freedom as well? And because it does look so free flowing, does he tell you to just do what feels right, or is there a more structured plan to it?
Yeah, with Richie, it's a complete freedom. When we got the ball, when we're attacking, he lets us go anywhere we want, and try and get us in danger positions to hurt the opponents. And that's what we try and do.
And it's been working, obviously, and even with Dan and Ollie O'Neill going out injured in recent weeks, the goals have still been coming. Charlie Coleman, Jamie Donnelly have been really, really key through that spine there, and hopefully with Dylan and Azim coming into here, it will be seamless, and that we'll be able to transition nicely.
Yeah, I think my only kind of slight cause for concern and to temper any expectations is the last couple of games, and drawing blanks against Peterborough and then Stevenage on Tuesday. I think we can kind of forget Tuesday a little bit due to the nature of the competition and making the amount of changes and some of them, in fact most of them, having to be necessary changes because our fixture list has been quite relentless of late. But Peterborough last Saturday we were just kind of lacking a little bit of a spark, I think, and hopefully we've got players who have come into the club, albeit only here for a few days, but hopefully, given the fact that it's in front of the home crowd for the first time for both Dylan and Azim, and then hopefully they'll be able to really give us something to kind of get us off our feet. I did want to ask Dan about the kind of the fluid nature of it, and when it finally clicked. Was there any particular game or any particular period of time when you started to feel it clicking? I've got a couple of games in mind when I think Blackpool, when you were running the line and it was more the instinctive, putting the ball in, and Charlie Cameron was there, and then Ollie O'Neill came in for the third goal, and Tom James, it was Tom James at the back stick as well, who comes in, having the ball come out to him and then finishes. But that first couple of months of the season, were you just kind of trying to plug away, knowing it would eventually come? Yeah,
so I think initially, after we had a few bad games where we didn't get any wins, and then I think the whole mindset was just try and be solid behind the ball, and so we weren't really as fluid. But then as we started going up the table a bit more, we were able to try and express ourselves more and be more fluid. And I feel like maybe towards the end of November, December, that's when I think it really started to show, and that's when we were showing that we're fluid, and yeah.
And I've got to ask as well, people often say January signings can give a boost to a side and maybe up people's games. It must be frustrating from the injury room, but knowing you're back so soon, does that give you a little bit more hunger as well, knowing that there's competition, that Dylan and Azim can play in these positions, and that competition for places, you've got a lot of quality in there now, it must be good motivation. Yeah,
it's a good motivation for any footballer, everyone wants to play at the end of the day, and when you've got good players that you're competing with, you have to raise your game, and I think that will help the team, because now everyone's going to have to try and raise their game to get in the team and try and stay in the team.
Absolutely right. It's time to look away from the game for just one moment, and of course don't forget today's match is available to stream if you're a fan watching from outside of the UK. If you're watching along live on our YouTube preview stream, then you can head over to the Match Centre now, pick up a match pass to watch along. That's if you're an international fan, of course. If you're in the UK, you can listen along with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock on commentary with an audio pass. But enough about that, and let's return our thoughts to the football. It's time to hear from a true Orient legend. It's Mr. Terry Howard.
Terry, Reading at home today, a lovely day for it. How much do you think the lads will be looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think we've had a busy schedule. We got a little bit of a rest into a few of the boys, which they needed. We've had since Christmas, New Year, it's been pretty non-stop for them. So good to get back to league. Obviously, the excitement of the Cup a couple of weeks ago, I think they'll be relishing today's game.
Reading are 1 place and 3 points above us, so they're just outside the playoffs themselves. No, it's a really big game for both clubs. As a player, are these the games you really look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't get up for today's game, with where we were, the run we've been on, the team we're playing today. I mean, I remember playing against Reading on many occasions. Always a good games with them out here. They'll bring a noisy following, so it should be a good atmosphere today.
And how do you approach a day like today? Do you see it being a tight game? Do you think it'll be open? How do you see it?
I wouldn't think it'd be too open. I think both sides will respect each other a little bit. I always say when I speak to you that I like to see us start the game fast, and that for me is the key today. If we can, take the game by the scruff of the neck early, don't give them time to settle, hopefully get an early goal, that'll make a big difference.
We obviously had a little setback on Tuesday, losing in the Virtue Trophy, but prior to that, we've been on an incredible run of form. With that form behind us, how easy do you think it will be for us to pick ourselves back up and go again?
I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. Tuesday, of course, you want to win every game, but I think sometimes, games catch up with you a little bit. It's probably, although we had a lot of possession, we didn't really create too much on Tuesday. I think a few of the lads might have been a bit tired. We lack a little bit of firepower, and it showed a little bit on Tuesday. And I think they'll brush that aside pretty quickly.
And we always say it, but it's going to be another busy one today. How much of an impact can the fans help us? And let's not forget that we've had a really extended Christmas period, haven't we? So there will be some tired legs out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's important. We've got a couple of fresh bodies into the squad. That can only be a good thing. Not only does it create competition for places, but it just might allow Richie to get rest up one or two and change it up, freshen it up a little bit. Crowd, get behind them early. So it works both ways. We can give them something early to latch onto, and it'll work both ways with us getting the crowd going and then sort of reciprocating that.
So just a very quick reminder for you supporters at home, there is of course 20% off all 24-25 training wear and kits as well. The offers are available in store and online. Just head over to shop.leytonorient.com to shop the offers now. Get yourself kitted out for the final or for the second half of the season. It's set to be a good one, so make sure you don those colours and get behind the boys. Now let's talk about the midfield quickly. It's Jordan Brown alongside Darren Pratley in there today. A tried and tested and successful partnership.
Yeah, I mean, I always, when I come look at the team sheet, I always like it when you see players who are just very familiar about playing with each other, next door to each other. So the Brown and Pratley partnership has, like you say, is tried and tested. They've got dozens of games under the belt together. I quite like the combination of the youth and the experience as well. But yeah, together they know each other's game, and very rarely do you ever see them kind of exposed as a midfield too.
I was going to ask Dan, you have got one of the youngest members of the squad with by far the oldest member of the squad, but
Yeah.
if you looked from the neck down, you wouldn't know who's 22 and who's 39, nearly 40. Darren Pratley's that good, and he's aging like a fine wine.
Yeah, someone like Pratt, I feel like Pratt is getting better as he gets older. You know, like I think it was the last game where he got the ball and just ran down the line and beat 2 players and crossed the ball in, and yeah, I'm just looking at Pratt like wow, and yeah, he's keeping it up, and he's a real leader for this team. You know, he gets along with everyone. He leads by example. I feel like, and I feel like he just keeps playing better and better, and that's definitely helping the team.
How does he rank in terms of captains that you've played under? He must be up there.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. He's one of the best I've had. I really get along with him, and I talk to him a lot and ask for a lot of advice from him, and yeah, he's someone that's been at the top and he's done it all, and yeah, he's someone that I really look up to.
And even in a footballing sense, we've got some clips here that we can hopefully pull up and look and see what he does. He's important to this team, and his inclusion in the team has coincided with an uplift in form, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's so good across the board. I mean, Paolo Maldini once said that if you've got dirty shorts, then you've done the game wrong. But I don't think that applies to Darren Pratley, because he gets around a bit, and he loves to tackle. But he's just so important. You know that when he's going to be in the team, he will give absolutely everything in every game. It's amazing that he kind of stays as injury-free as he actually is. But what's been really nice actually this season is it feels like he's added a bit to his game as well, which you wouldn't kind of expect at his age to be kind of pushing on more in a number 8 role at some points. But this was amazing when he kind of went to charge it down as a keeper. I think at that point in the game it was about the 80-minute mark, and this was on Tuesday. Look at that raking ball there from taking on the right back space, going for probably a 60-yard pass. Yeah, he's been brilliant.
I don't know how he plays the minute he does, but when you're on the pitch of him, do you feel that sense of you've got the captain there and everyone raises their game a little bit? Yeah,
in a way, I would say so. Yeah, you know, I look beside him and I see people that would want to go to war with me, and he's someone that would want to do that. And you know, that's really encouraging. You know, when you're going through a tough period on the pitch, you can look and you have Pratley there just encouraging you and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's really important.
What is it that the qualities that he possesses as a captain that you want to see? Like when you arrive at the club and you see what are the qualities that great captains have?
I would say they're just like they're firm. I would say they're encouraging, and I say like just in terms of his professionalism. Like he's a really professional guy, does everything right, and I feel like that's the main thing, you know. Like we look to a captain, you see that they want to do well for the team and just want to lift everyone up, and that's someone that's what Pratley does.
10 more years, eh? He looks like he could play for another at least.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when that song goes around because it's, you know, it always, and when it gets to 10 more years, the whole stadium starts doing it. Yeah, I mean, he's good. I mean, he turns 40 fairly soon, and I mean, it's extraordinary really because he would be the oldest player. I believe he would be the oldest player in the Premier League, and the oldest player in the Premier League at the moment is a goalkeeper. So to be able to do what he's doing has been amazing.
Well, we've spoken about him a lot. Let's hear from him now. It's Darren Pratley.
When you've been on a run of form like we've been on, and you have a schedule as mad as what we've had, do you almost want the schedule to be like that? Does that almost help the run?
Yeah, it helps the run because you continue playing. You're not training as much. you're on that winning roll and you want that to continue. So I think a lot of sometimes tiredness can be in your head. So when you're winning games, you don't get as tired. You notice that with teams. We want to continue playing and trying to get as many points on the board as possible in as short a time as possible as well.
For you personally, you've got a lot of minutes as well recently. How much have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing. Obviously didn't play as much at the start of the season. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been winning games. I feel good still. And I'm enjoying playing.
And then it's Reading Saturday, then Exeter and Stockport, two teams that are just above us, team that are a little bit below us. How exciting are these games, particularly these next two at home?
Yeah, because especially I think they're 3 points above us. So if we can win on Saturday, that brings us on level points or just above them. And like you said, going into a Stockport game, who are just above them as well. So it keeps the teams above us. It narrows the gap, if you like, and it keeps us into that top six if we can pick up points. So it's a tough month coming up. I think we've got 6 or 7 teams that are in and around it. We want to stay with the pack, and it's important that we get as many points as we can in this next run of games. So we're in and around it come the run in the last 10 games of the season.
Just under 10 minutes to go until kick-off, so let's take a look at the visiting side, as it's Reading who come to E10 in the hopes to put some distance between themselves and the team just below them in the table. But starting in goal for the Royals is their number 22. It's Joel Pereira across the back line. It's Gerald Dorset at left back with Michael Craig at right back, and Tyler Binden and Harley Dean are the centre back today. Lewis Wing's the captain in midfield alongside Harvey Nibbs and Charlie Savage, and the front three are Andre Garcia on the left, Ken Campbell on the right, and Sam Smith leading the line. On the bench for them is David Button, Louis Holzman, Abraham Kanu, Sivonge Rushesha, Mahmida Kamara, Jaden Wareham and Kelvin Ehibatman. So let's talk about Reading briefly then. Andrew, there's not much between the two sides.
Not much between the two sides. They've been on the score sheet a lot this season. I think they're the 4th joint highest scorers in the league. They've really defied a lot of expectations as well. Incredibly young team, have had quite well documented problems off the pitch, which is definitely has impacted them in the past on the pitch with being unable to sign some players, but they've really come together. They've got a new manager in Noel Hunt who's been there for only 10 games now. His record hasn't been that great, only 3 wins in those 10 for him, but their midfield is really excellent. Savage, Wing and Nibbs have been the kind of like the real driving force for everything that's been good for them so far this season.
Are there any players in that starting 11, Dan, that have jumped out to you that you remember playing against that we should maybe be wary of today?
I would say Harvey Nibbs. I think he's one of our better players. I think he's got 10 goals this season so far, and yeah, he looked like a real threat. Sam Smith as well, another striker. He's doing well this year, and I feel like if we can keep them two quiet and Lewis alongside Lewis Wing, then we can be confident of getting a good result.
They get goals. It's funny you should mention the attacking players, because if you take a look at some of these clips here, Andrew, they get goals, but also they get goals in a variety of different ways.
A real variety. I'm not sure you'll see a selection of goals that are as kind of different as the ones that we're about to see. Some good strikes from different players as well. Some inventive finishes too. Excellent goals there against Cambridge, that was. But yeah, they've been very good this season. Their one weakness really is actually their defence. They've conceded 36 so far this season, and for a team in 7th in the league, you don't really want to be conceding that many. They've only kept 5 clean sheets in 36 games, so that's certainly where we have to be looking at putting them under pressure. But there's some really excellent finishes, so we have to be alert to a lot of their threat this afternoon.
And I know it's the opposite end of the pitch to you, Dan, but defensively we've been so good. I know Richie always says that actually the defence starts from his attackers, but as a whole unit, as an 11, defensively, we'll be able to deal with these today, won't we?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Recently, defensively, we've been really good. We haven't really been conceding many goals, and I think we're in the top 2 in the league in terms of goals conceded. And I think it's a whole team as a collective, and I think we can be good against it defensively today.
we haven't actually touched on our defence, but we'll do it now quickly because it is Cooper, partner in Omar, Jack Simpson out with a slight knock, Dan Happy on the bench again, I'll come back from injury. So, you know, it's a big chance for Cooper to partner Omar, who's been in fantastic form, and keep out Reading.
Yeah, obviously Cooper played on Tuesday, was very unfortunate with the own goal, but like you said, big opportunity for him. Fortunately, kind of it shows the strength and depth that we've got in the team, that he hasn't been called upon that much so far this season. So all the best to him. And
obviously we're hearing some of the noise come from the stand above us. Some of it's the away fans, but we can hear the home end as well. A lot of tickets sold. The spirits are good. You boys must feel that extra sense of confidence come when you're playing here in E10.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think our fans are our 12th man, and you know the fans have been great. There's a lot of them today, and I'm sure the atmosphere will be great as well. And yeah, I think that will really spur the team on, and hopefully that will push us over the line to get the 3 points. Yeah.
It's probably the toughest game to call in the whole League One fixture list today. So close, but what way do you see it going?
Orient win. Quite easy to call.
Wow.
There you go.
Very interested. I mean, actually, it's not as close as it. I know it is. Bolton won, which has actually now put them above us. So there's now 2 places between us. So it's not that close, but a good opportunity to get above Bolton on goal difference. We've got those game in hands, and this is when it starts mattering, isn't it?
And it's also just about getting points on the board as well, not kind of like in a sense of trying to get away from the bottom half of the table, but certainly just to kind of keep that push going and put the pressure on those teams above, and come the end of the season, these kind of games will be the ones that we look back and being the big ones.
Well, the teams are making their way out onto the pitch here at the Gotham Group Stadium, so let's hand over to our friendly voices of Dave Victor and Matt Hitchcock.